What's up, guys? Welcome back to the PL Pod right here on YouTube. I am Daniel Talks Football, and we are back with another week and another podcast. We've had a 2-week hiatus from podcasts, just doing the videos, and I hope you have enjoyed them. But this week we are back with the podcasts, and we are back with a bang, as we have a very, very big guest on the line. Before we do get into that, I just need to tell you all to like the video, subscribe down below, drop a comment, what do you think of what we're going to say. Go follow the TikTok. That's started since I last did a full-on podcast. Daniel Talks Football on TikTok. Go follow us over there. Go follow us on Instagram as well, Daniel Talks Football. And I think that's all the promotion out of the way. Moving on to the guest we have on the line tonight, and he is a very, very big fan account. It's Villa Bible. How are you doing, mate?
Hello. Yeah, I'm doing quite well. Are you?
Yeah, I'm alright, mate. As I was saying to you before we started recording, Things in the football world at the moment, they're not too enjoyable after losing to Bournemouth yesterday.
Not for us too, anyway.
No, it's not been too fun, has it? Before we do get into it, please do go follow Villa Bible over on Instagram. I'd greatly appreciate it, and I know he would as well. And yeah, let's just get straight into it by talking about the first game of the weekend, which was 5-1 to Newcastle versus Brentford. It's now been a year on since Newcastle got taken over by the Saudis. Do you think they've exceeded expectations?
I don't know. Well, I suppose they're doing well at the minute.
They are.
I think when you get new owners in, which are minted, I think we can safely say that
We can.
people expect the change is going to happen right away. They're going to get to Europe. Because obviously they came in, when was it, just before January?
Yeah.
Like November, December time.
Yeah.
Obviously they got rid of Bruce, which is for the best, although he's doing a fantastic job at West Brom in my opinion.
Very good.
But obviously he came in, they came in, so the two of them, and the last season, it ended well for them. They were in the relegation zone, and then they finished, top 10? Just under top 10?
I think, yeah, it's 10th, 11th,
it's around
wasn't
there.
It? Yeah.
Yeah, so, for a team that were destined to go down last season, they're now fighting for Europe. Whether they stay there,
We'll have to see.
we'll have to see. It's still so early in the season, so no one knows what will happen. But I reckon the money they've spent a lot of money
They have.
than what they're used to. So I reckon they should be at least pushing for top 10 this season, if not Europe.
Fair enough. Yeah. Do you think the way they've spent that money has been good? Looking at the signings, they haven't gone out. I know they spent a lot on Isaac, but before that they weren't spending 50, 60 million on every player like they expected. Last January, people expected Newcastle just go out and just spend 400 million, bringing in a whole new squad. They haven't done that. They've been strategic with the way they've been buying players. Guimaraes is a big example of that. Are you impressed with the way they've been doing their business?
Yeah. I think they're fifth at the minute, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously the players they brought in, you can't knock. I wouldn't say just in my opinion, but I think for some others as well, it was whether they would work, because they're obviously a whole new bunch of players. Target, when he was with us,
Yeah, of
the
course.
lockdown season, he was amazing, and then he was 50-50 before we let him go on loan in January.
And got Dino, yeah.
Last year, yeah. And I don't know. Like when teams are signing players like that, I'm not calling them mediocre, but that's what some fans would see him like. And I don't know. Obviously they're doing well. So obviously, what they have spent and the people they have brought in, you can't say that they aren't. But maybe at the start, I think one or two people definitely would have questioned who they brought in with the money they have. You obviously Mbappe told them no, but yeah, I don't know. I think they'll do well. Whether they continue it, we'll have to see.
We'll have to see, yeah.
Eddie Howe is doing a great job.
Very good manager, yeah. Very good manager. And then
see what
Brentford,
happens.
5-1 loss for them. Doesn't look great for them. Obviously, they lost Ederson in the summer. Managed to keep hold of Tony, though. Do you think this was just an off day for Brentford after a decent start to the season? I think it's fair to say, with that, obviously, United victory being the biggest of those games.
Yeah, when they beat United, I thought, here we go. It's going to be another season where Brentford dominate. But I don't know. They're a bit. I don't know. It's hard to tell with Brentford because they're still so new to the Premier. I mean, it's only their second
Yeah.
season in the Premier League. Obviously, I think they've been in the first division about 50 years ago, but
Yeah.
they've come up, beat us twice as normal. We never beat them, and they're doing well. I still think their aim would be to stay up.
Survival.
Yeah, but I mean, even last season, I think they got close to top 10. But
They started pushing with Ederson.
yeah, definitely. But whether I don't know. I think I can't say Brentford will go down this season.
No.
I can't see it. But
No.
whether they continue to do well or poorly, it's just hard to say. They're one of them teams. It's a bit like, I suppose you could say it's a bit like Leeds. Obviously, when they came up in the first season, I think they finished about 7th
They did, and then
or
they
8th.
fell off.
And then, yeah, obviously fell off, almost got relegated last season. This season, I don't know, it could go either way from, but
It could.
I think it'll be the same with Brentford. It could go either way from. I don't think they'll go down, but I don't think they'll be top 10. They might I think the highest they'll finish is 11th, lowest 17th.
Fair enough.
So mid-table sort of team.
Fair enough. We'll move on to the next game, which I really don't want to talk about. We'll do it anyway. Bournemouth beat Leicester by 2-1 at the Vitality Stadium. I think it's still called that, on Saturday.
Been there.
We'll start with Bournemouth before we move on to Leicester. I've always said that Bournemouth are dead certain to go down. Finished bottom of the table, 20th place. They've got absolutely no chance. However, they've picked up a couple of decent results recently, and under this interim boss they've got in at the moment, with new owners coming in as well, do you think they could actually stay up?
I don't know. Yeah, unfortunately, I'd probably have to say yeah with this one. I don't know. It's so hard because it's still so early. It could go either way. I mean, when they played us at the start of the season, Scott Parker was still in charge. He said we're not prepared enough, and then they went and beat us. So I don't know. If this was done a few weeks later, I'd be able to say
yes or no.
Yeah, but for now, I'd say I feel like I'm on repeat. It could go either way, but it genuinely could go either way for them. Obviously, I don't think no one would say they're going to get top 10 or whatever. But
yeah, no.
They have to challenge to stay up.
They do.
Personally, I don't want them in the league because I hate going to Bournemouth. It's such a small away end.
It's so small, yeah.
And it's very horrible in the sun unless you're right at the back. So there's no
protection.
but no, we don't win there anyway.
Fair enough.
We won there the first season they came up on the first day of the season. We won 1-0, and that was our only away win of the season.
Ooh.
So, yeah, I don't. No offense to Bournemouth fans, but I don't really like coming to your place.
So you want them to go
whether
down?
You stay up, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
Obviously, if they stay up, you can't knock them because they're not a team with lots of money. They may even be the poorest team in the league. Obviously, they're not poor.
Quite possibly.
You know what I mean? Like,
look at the stadium.
Poor, but like, yeah, they don't want to They don't want to revamp it.
No, that says a lot. That says an awful lot.
Apparently, that's what I've heard. I don't know.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Can't say.
It wouldn't surprise me at all. We'll move on to the other team that played in this fixture, Leicester City. That's one word I could call them. I could also replace the C with CH. Well, yeah, CH there and call them that. But we'll stick with Leicester City. I was at the Forest. Thanks, mate. Thanks, mate. I was at the Forest game on Monday, and we absolutely obliterated them there. It was one of the best atmospheres I've seen at the KP for a long, long time. 4-0 victory. Played some really good football. The defence still wasn't great, but we can ignore that. And then we go away to Bournemouth, and we lose 2-1 after again being a goal up and just not being able to hold on to that lead. As a Leicester fan, as people have held on here before, I'm very heavily Brendan out. It will take an awful lot for me to change my mind. We could get Europe this season, and I probably still wouldn't want him here because he told the fans to stop voicing their opinions, and you can't do that. But as an outsider, what are your thoughts?
I don't know. It's quite weird at the minute. In my opinion, Leicester, I wouldn't even call it a downfall. Because obviously nothing's happened yet. But I mean, you got Europe that lockdown season, didn't you?
We did. We got Europe
Not
the season
lockdown
after.
season,
We got Europe two
Project
seasons in
Restart.
a row. Yeah, Project
Did you get
Restart,
it
and
the?
then we
Yeah,
had
you got
Europe
it the
last
season
year.
before.
We had season.
Yeah.
We had Europe last year.
So you got that. I was like, I'm. I don't think I was surprised you got Europe because obviously I think you were pushing for Champions League,
We
weren't
were.
you? Um, but obviously when we played you in January and then I think it was about April time. Um, I because I obviously I don't really watch Leicester. The only
Hmm.
time I'll ever watch them if they're on the telly or if,
Yeah.
we're there. And I saw both games and I was thinking, how are these lot got Europe? Um, so I think Leicester being where they are has been coming
Hmm.
because uh, I don't know, you've just sort of not kept the same squad, but nothing's really
I mean, nothing changed in the summer
changed. No,
because we brought in two players, one of them being a third choice keeper.
yeah, and that third choice keeper is probably better than the first choice at the minute.
Oh, don't
Um,
even get me started on Danny Ward. He's awful. He's so bad.
um, but yeah, I don't know. Leicester they've been weird, but in my opinion, it's been
Hmm.
coming for well probably since last season.
Okay.
I think I said last season in a village chat that I was in, we were on about Leicester.
Hmm.
I said I don't think they'll finish anywhere near Europe.
Hmm.
Obviously, I can't remember where you finished last season, but
Eighth last year, so we weren't even that far
oh
out actually.
no, no. But I at the time I said I can't see him finishing top 10.
Hmm.
Um, this season,
We've been awful.
I'm comfortably saying I can't see him staying getting top 10.
Absolutely not. No, I'll take 17th. I mean, for me, half the issue is Brendan Rodgers. It just is. We're not this bad. I know the defences. I know the defence isn't great, but you look at the attacking talent. We've got Barnes, Vardy, Daka, Maddison, even Dewsbury Hall in there. As a midfielder. Tielemans is in midfield. We've got some good players.
Definitely.
I mean, he has to. I won't talk about him too much because I'm bored to death of talking about this because it's so flipping bad. But hopefully by the time I'm talking next week, either we'll have won or Rodgers will have been sacked and I can have a party and yeah. Arsenal versus Liverpool. Because I don't want to talk about this anymore. 3-2
Fair
to
enough.
Arsenal in this one. Do Arsenal have what it takes to win the Premier League?
Yeah. It's annoying. I don't want
It
to say
is.
yeah,
It's so annoying.
but you got to say yeah. They've lost once this season. I don't even
Hmm.
think did they draw? I don't think they've
I
drew.
don't know. They haven't drawn. They've lost one and won everything else.
Yeah, so I mean, even the game they lost,
United
I don't United. I think I did watch that game. Yeah, yeah, they did play.
three
I
one,
think I don't
wasn't it? To
know.
United.
Oh yeah, they did play quite poor. I remember that
They
now.
weren't great that day.
Yeah,
No.
they weren't no, but even then, the games they have played, even if they're losing, whatever, they'll come. Well, I don't even really think they've been in a losing position this season, but if they
It would
are,
surprise
they'll
me.
they'll come back,
Yeah.
and it's crazy because obviously last season and the season before that, Michael Arteta was one of the ones that would have probably got sacked,
Hmm.
and Arsenal fans wanted him gone.
They
But
did.
well, I mean, Arsenal want anyone can't, But he's doing a job, and you can't knock him for that. Unfortunately, it's with Arsenal, and it is what it is. Whether they win the league or not, that's a different question. But I think they'll. There's. I don't think at the minute, unless they have injuries, a poor run of form for whatever reason, I think
Hmm.
there's no way they don't get top three.
Fair enough. I will ask you the question. I will push you for it. Do you think they'll win the league? Good luck.
Um, I don't know. Who would you rather win the league, Arsenal or City?
City, they've got no fans. It'll be fine. No, we won't hear about it again.
Uh, I don't know. Yeah, go on then. They definitely has what it takes.
Yeah. All right.
if that was that was the question word here.
Yeah. Do you think they'll win?
Yeah. That's a bit different, isn't it?
That is a bit different.
I don't know. Again, if this was done after they played like Man City or
Then you can answer it.
some, yeah, then you could give a proper answer. But at the minute, you can't say no. You cannot say no.
Fair enough. Haaland, you're going to go home disappointed then. For the first time in ages. And then Liverpool. Playing very poorly under Klopp at the moment. Losing left, right and centre. I'm having a look where they are in the table. They're 11th. Liverpool Football Club are in 11th in the Premier League table.
I think we could overtake them if we win tomorrow.
You can. If you win tomorrow, yep. Liverpool fall down to 12th in the table.
I think we could overtake Fulham, and they're like what, 9th?
Fulham are 10th. Yeah, if you win tomorrow, you'll go 10th, maybe even 9th.
I think it
10th.
Depends on the Everton Man United score.
It does.
Which
It's
is obviously
1-1
being played
at the moment. Yeah, it's
as we're
1-1
talking right now.
Yeah,
Oh, is it?
It is.
Ooh.
Iwobi and Anthony. I mean, first of all, please do win tomorrow, because otherwise we go back bottom of the table. But Liverpool, crisis? Is that fair to call them? Say that they're in crisis?
First of all, I would like to say, Mohamed Salah, how you did not have a shot on target today. How? You've ruined my day. Cost me £10, Mohamed Salah. I will be
Billing him.
messaging you on Instagram for that back later. But anyway, crisis definitely. I mean, it's one of them things with Klopp, isn't it?
The 8th season, is it?
Like
7th
or 8th season curse, and it's showing. To be fair, I did watch the game. Well, I watched up until the 70th, so I didn't even see the last 20. But,
fair enough.
Yeah, they were getting into it towards the end of the first half, and then Arsenal go up the other end after hoping to go in 1-1 at half time, and they score. So
yeah.
And then Liverpool after that just looked deflated. There was nothing going their way. I mean, even the second half, I don't really remember them, other than Firmino, weren't it, that scored? I don't even remember them having anything proper go their way. So, yeah, I'd definitely say there's a crisis. Whether they can change that.
Yeah, does Klopp fix it?
That's up to Klopp and the team.
Do you think Klopp will fix it, or do you think he will just leave at the end of the season and leave it to a new man?
Well, this is the thing. This was meant to be his last season, weren't it? And then he signed a contract to stay there. So I don't think the club want to sack him.
No.
But at the same time, you got to look at what happened there last season. You know, they could have won 4 trophies. They're left with 2. They're a club that the money they spent. I mean, they spent 100 million on Nunez, and he only got his second goal today. So whether he is even the right person they should have signed, we can't tell you until the end of the season. But I don't know. I don't think the club will want, like I said, I don't think the club will want to sack Klopp. But he's nothing's working for him at the minute.
No.
So it's rough. It's not going well.
It's rough. It's very, very rough for them, and
I'd rather be in the position they're in right now than where Villa are.
I would happily take it as well. I'd happily take it as well.
It is definitely rough for them because, you know, the clubs, you can say they're a top 6 club. No one can take that away from them.
No.
But top 6 clubs are looking to win trophies. I can't see Liverpool at the minute winning 1 this season.
I mean, could I see them doing something like a League Cup? Possibly, but it would surprise me. There seems to be a mentality within that club. Losing Mane seems to have been a lot bigger deal than we all thought it would have been. You know, they brought in Nunez to replace him, that'll be fine. It seems to have actually really, really affected them. And I'm very interested to see where they're going to end up end of the season. I don't think they'll get Champions League as it is. And I think that would be seen as a disaster for that football club.
If they don't get Champions League, Klopp goes.
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%.
He has to go.
And I'd be interested to see what they'd bring in. Very interested. Because everyone thought it was going to be Gerrard. It absolutely will not be Gerrard at the moment.
No. Definitely not.
His next job will be managing... let's think. His next job will be managing Stoke. Is he that bad?
Nah, this is the thing. I know obviously we're going to talk about him later,
Yeah,
but
we will.
really quickly, people said when Gerrard came to Villa, if he goes to Liverpool, no, if he's using Villa as a stepping stone to go to Liverpool,
Mhm.
people debated that. Um, we all said in this one Villa group chat, if he goes to Liverpool, he would have had to done such a great job with us.
You wouldn't have minded.
No, yeah, because you can't go to Liverpool and not have anything to show for it. I mean, he's got a Scottish
Scottish League title.
Premier League Scottish. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's it. That's all he's got. I know maybe no, I think was that all he won? I don't know. Maybe they won the FA Cup, whatever.
maybe. Yeah.
But um, that's all he's got at the minute.
Mhm.
He hasn't really got a lot to show with what he's done at Villa, other than he can spend money, and that's not gone to plan because
No,
everyone we've brought in
it's been
is
awful.
pretty much injured or poor. But anyway, we'll get on with that later.
We
We'll
will.
talk about that in a
But
bit.
no, yeah. Be interesting to get onto your thoughts on that. And then before we do round off this segment, I will quickly touch on FPL because I haven't talked about it in a couple of weeks, but obviously just doing videos past few weeks. I made a very big decision this week. I looked at the fixtures and I thought, Haaland, he's got Southampton. He's doing very well at the moment. Let's whack the triple captain on.
Oh,
Haaland.
look it.
Haaland.
Oh my God.
Haaland, City won by 4 goals and you scored 1 goal. Could you not like scored like a hat trick again? I thought, oh, it's the week to do it. He's been doing really well recently, and fuming. So thanks, Haaland. You've still got me 18 points, but it's not enough. So
He
screw
was due
you.
a stinker.
Screw you. It would have been better me triple captain than Cancelo, for God's sake. He got 18, but I've ended up with 66 points. Still top of like me 3 most important mini leagues, so I'm not complaining. I've been having
No,
a
you
blinder
can't
so
complain
far.
with that.
I've been having a blinder so far this season. Top 392,000 in the world, which again isn't awful considering I think there's like 7 million FPL players, is there? There's
Minimum.
there's
Minimum.
quite a few. I wonder if I can find out how many people registered. How many people? This is the great content you get on the PL pod. How many people registered for FPL 22-23? Let's see.
While Dan looks this up, I will add, I'm not having a great season because I give up after the third or fourth week. So I don't know where I am. I do not know.
You've got no idea.
I think I've still got the same squad that I started with,
Oh,
and that may even still have Diego Carlos in. Oh no, actually, it wouldn't. It wouldn't have Carlos in because I do remember changing him because that was only the second game week. But
what a stink with
I
Salah.
haven't changed it since the fifth game week.
Fair
So
enough.
if any of you are FPL minded, DM me. I will see it.
He needs the
Please
help.
DM us. Please DM us. And if you can give me any good pointers, I will take that on board. Because it don't really matter what I get this season. I've already lost it all anyway. So even if you tell me something that don't work, I mean, you could tell me to put Daniel Ward in goal, and I'd probably take it at the minute.
Please
I'll
do not
probably
do
end up-
that.
End the season on minus points.
You would.
But
You absolutely would.
I'll have to get back into it soon.
You will. I found out that 9 million played last year. So say there's 9 million again. I'm
Be
top.
about 9-10 million.
Yeah, I'm top 392,000. That's not awful. I'm top 5,000 of all Leicester fans, and considering half of them will probably have Jamie Vardy captained as their striker. So that probably won't mean much because, we're all blindless and think he's the best striker to have ever graced the league, which he is, usually. But no, we will finish that FPL section off there while I go and cry into a bowl that Haaland didn't score 6. And we'll come back in a little bit to come and talk about Aston Villa. Let's do that. And we are back from the break to come back and talk about Aston Villa. We'll start off with the summer signings. There were quite a few this summer. Some of which signings I really liked, like Diego Carlos and Kamara. Some of which I looked at the signings on deadline day and thought, what have you done here then? How have all of them done in the end then?
Injured. Carlos got injured in the second game.
Mm-hmm.
Kamara got injured against Southampton. I think Diego will be out until about March or April. Diego Carlos is missing the World Cup, so we probably won't see him back until Boxing Day.
Nope.
So there's our two massive signings gone already. The third one at the time was obviously Phil.
Yep.
We sold Target to Newcastle for, I think we got about 17 million. or about 15,
You got
and we
a
signed him
decent
for
chunk.
12.
Yeah.
So yeah, what we got for Target, we reinvested into Coutinho. At the minute, I think most Villa fans would say they prefer Target playing where Coutinho is at the minute. Yeah, it's not really gone well. Obviously, we made a few others like Olsen. He's backup keeper. He'll do a job if needed. We haven't played him yet this season. I
Fair
don't
enough.
think. The only game he has played for us was on the last game of the season against City.
Yeah, fair enough then.
Um, we lost 3-2.
You
He
did.
looked shaky first half, but he did quite well. And I suppose you could say he might have even pre-assisted the second goal we had. I can't really remember,
Fair
but he
enough.
just blasted it upfield and we scored. So
Yeah.
Bendedeck came on last week against Leeds. He did a job. He did a
Okay.
job. Southampton fans are saying they don't care about, not that they don't care about him, but he isn't really great. I mean, he started in both of the 9-0 losses I think they
I
had.
mean,
So
yeah. If you wanna talk about Southampton centre halves, there's one at our club which we can give you. Um,
yeah, and then the final signing off the top of my head was Dendoncker.
yeah.
He's played about 25 minutes, so saw nothing of him really.
Was that
I
a
think
rushed
that's all of our
signing?
signings.
I think so. Was the Dendoncker one a rushed signing? Because I look at it and I go, well, you were thinking you were going to lose Louise, you didn't.
Yeah.
Dendoncker doesn't really make sense to me.
Um. Yeah, it was. I wouldn't say it was rushed because we needed backup, and obviously you can look at that now and agree. I
Yeah.
mean, with Kamara out, we needed that sort of backup. It was the same with the centre back issue. Really, we had three of them: Mings, Konza, Diego Carlos, and obviously, I suppose you could say Callum Chambers. He can play centre back, but
Yeah.
I think we prefer to play him like right back CDM sort of
Fair
thing.
enough.
But yeah, no, we needed backup in case of injuries, and that has proven that we did need it.
Fair
So
enough.
yeah, you could say it was a bit rushed, but
It was needed
from
backups.
from our point of view, it
Fair
was
enough.
needed. And on deadline day, you're not really going to get a lot in.
No,
And obviously, if Louise went,
you needed someone.
well,
I mean,
yeah, we got Nakamba, but he ain't played. He ain't
no.
really played in a while. He's
Fair enough.
obviously when he got injured against Liverpool in December. Um, the first game back for him, I think, was against you lot when we drew 0-0.
Uh-huh,
So
yeah.
we definitely. So obviously he hasn't played a lot, and so yeah, we need a backup. Whichever way you look at it, some people will say it was rushed. Some people will say it was needed, and well, most Villa fans should say it was needed, even if it was rushed. And I'll agree with the side that say it was needed.
Fair enough. And then we've touched on it there, but Philippe Coutinho, a man that's moved from Liverpool to Barcelona for what, 130 million? A
Yeah,
supposedly excellent player. Moved to Aston Villa for 13. I think it was 13 in the end. I
we
presume
paid
he
17.
17. All right, fair enough
Yeah.
then. I presume he hasn't had the desired impact, considering you said you'd prefer Matt Target Cam.
um, I don't. I think we sort of play him on the wing,
Okay, on the wing
but
then.
he does play cam. But we don't really have a. I don't think our formation really plays a cam.
Okay then. You prefer Matt
A
Target on
lot.
the wing then.
He did do a good job on the wing, to be fair. He used to link up with Grealish. Nah, that's the thing with Phil. He's a good player, but he hasn't got a goal or assist in. I think his last goal came against City on the final game of the season. Assist-wise, I couldn't even tell you when his last assist was.
Wow.
I think that may have been. I don't even think it was against Leeds when we beat him 3-0.
been a
So
while then.
I can't even tell you the last assist he got. Or it might have been against. I don't want to say because I know I'll mess it up, and some people might
The
have a go at me
the
for not
Daniel
knowing my
Talks Football
facts.
Ultras will come for you.
They will. And so yeah, Phil, he's a good player. He's still got it, but he just needs to find what he has got. because no one will say Coutinho is a bad player.
No.
You know he's not. He did well at Liverpool. He didn't do as well at Barcelona. I mean, he won the Champions League with Bayern Munich and played in the game and even scored
He
when
did, yeah.
Munich beat him. What was it, like 7-4 or something insane like that?
What's this, the Barcelona game?
Yeah, when they
8-2,
during
wasn't
the
it?
lockdown. 8-2. That was
yeah.
mad. And he scored in that. He might have
Scored
even
two,
got a
didn't he?
brace.
I think he scored
Yeah,
two.
I think he got a brace, or he scored and assisted. But whatever it was, you can't deny that he's a bad player.
No.
No, you can't say that he's a bad player. Sorry, but at the minute, he is playing poor.
Okay, fair enough. So, yeah, he has been poor. He's not that same player that Liverpool sold, is he? And to be fair, it might just be Barcelona. Barcelona do seem to be quite... I mean, look at Griezmann as well. Another big money signing they made, and he's just gone to Atleti for, 20 million? So, it could just be the Barcelona way at the moment of bringing in players for 100 plus million and selling them for 20.
They still owe Liverpool 17 or something as well.
That's
They still owe Liverpool money from when they signed him.
That's the Barcelona way. Put everything into add-ons and just never pay it. Sales-wise, you look at...
Yeah.
Is there anybody... We can go just from the summer. We can go for the last few years. I presume you won't be saying Jack Grealish. You wish you'd kept. But sales-wise, from the last few years or just the summer, is there anyone you wish you would have kept?
Well, I don't know. Not really, because the three main ones that I can think of off the top of my head, not including Grealish, is Trezeguet, Al Ghazi, and Traore. I think Traore's on loan at the minute, but we definitely have sold Trezeguet and Al Ghazi.
Yeah.
They were the two players that you'd see him play well once, and then they go missing for a whole month.
Yeah.
They were so frustrating, and they didn't really fit into Gerrard's plan. So, they've both gone. And why he was class for us in the Championship, but in the Premier League, he did well, but not well enough.
Yeah.
And that's why we've sold him. Trezeguet, I mean, he's the back post king. He kept us up in the first season.
Yeah, and he didn't he score a certain semi-final goal? I seem to remember. I think it was Trezeguet, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. We won't say who was that against, but
I can't remember the team's name actually at the moment.
You could all have a good guess. That was a good night. Trezeguet, he was one of them players. You'd see him play well, and then he'd just go missing. And it is gutting because although we signed him for so little money in Premier League terms, they did a bit more. But yeah, it was a shame to see him go, but it was needed. Bertrand Traore, another one, signed from.
He was quite expensive, wasn't he?
I can't remember their name, but he played at Chelsea for a bit. He was another one. It was 50-50 with him. He did well, and then he'd played bad. So we don't.
He came from Lyon, 16.5
Lyon,
million.
that was it. Yeah. When we signed him, I was a bit skeptical, because obviously I didn't really know a lot about him, but he was amazing in his first season. Not amazing, but amazing as a new player coming in should be. And didn't really play last season. He just sort of got injured a lot, and then that was it really. That's all we saw of him. Whether he stays with us or not when he comes back from his loan, I highly doubt it. I think it may even be an option to buy. So I think he'll be one of the ones to go, which is a shame. But again, if it's not going to work out, we may as well cut our losses sooner than later.
Yeah, exactly.
And obviously, as much as I don't want to talk about it, I suppose we have to mention Grealish. Great with us, not great with Man City in his first season. This season, he's getting into it. I think we sort of mugged him off with the 100 million.
Oh, you did,
million
absolutely.
Mark. But you can't deny that he wasn't worth at least 80. He's English, came through the academy,
Yeah, he was.
so
Yeah,
maybe 100 million was right, but
I mean, City
at the
paid it.
minute, oh yeah, so 100 million to them is like what a tenner
Exactly.
is
I
worth to
mean,
me at the minute, but that they'd yeah. I, this is the annoying thing. I don't want him to do well because he's left us,
yeah.
but you sort of don't lose that feeling of he's the player that you adore.
I mean, yeah. As Leicester fans experienced it, Riyad Mahrez. Big player, did loads for us, and then left us to go to Man City again. But scam artists wise, again, Harry Maguire. So I'm all aware of what it's like to scam a Manchester club out of a big price tag, getting 80 million.
I paid 80 million for a fridge.
I know. I was just going to say, it's the most expensive fridge that's ever been sold in the history of the country. Even those ones with like the water cooler on the front, they cost less, and to be honest, it'd probably be more useful. But no, yeah, we'll move on from fridges. I'll move on to the season. For those that haven't been following Villa closely, how has the season started?
Well, I mean, if you're not checking the Premier League table, I suppose you wouldn't really have a clue. But as most football fans and football Twitter would know, it has been quite poor. Not the start of the season that we wanted. It's not gone well. You can say that for certain, and it's a bit disappointing. We spent obviously the first season. Forget about the amount of money we spent. We needed to spend that money.
Stayed up.
Yeah, that was a goal, but we needed to spend that money. We lost about 15 players that summer. You see, this is the thing. Not many people realise this. It's the same with Forest.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
We lost 15 players that summer. Obviously, the players that we lost, they weren't Premier League standard anyway. Apart from a few.
Yeah.
Obviously, we got one or two loans back, so I suppose you could say we lost 13,
okay, fair
14. Enough. But we've lost the whole first team.
You lost a lot, yeah.
Yeah. People, when we came up, we spent all this money, and then people said, "Why would you spend that much money on all these? Like they haven't done great. The amount of money you spent, you should be getting higher up the table, top 10." And it's like you turn around to them and say, "Well, who do you want us to play? The youth?" so you can take an easy 3 points off us.
Yeah.
Obviously, it was easy to take 3 points off us that season, and no, of course you wouldn't. But it was easy to take 3 points off us that season.
It was.
For the most part, I think we won about 8 or 9 games, drew a few, and lost about 20 something. So, we can't.
Stayed up because of goal line technology.
No, that was an amazing save.
Definitely did not cross the line.
No, definitely did not. The second season, that was obviously during the whole season where it was locked down.
Yeah.
Me personally, if Grealish did not get injured, top 10.
Okay.
Maybe even top 8. But he did get injured, and although we shouldn't be relying on him, and I'll get into that in a second, we still finished quite high. We finished 11th, so 17th to 11th is an improvement.
Yeah.
Last season, obviously, we had Smith go.
Yeah, you did.
Gerrard came in, so that sets you 6 months to a season back. Anyway, in my opinion, when a new manager comes in, because they need to have the time to adjust.
It does, yeah.
Set their stamp, get the players in they want.
I mean, it took Rodgers about 3 months.
Yeah, well, yeah. Obviously, in my opinion, when new managers come in, it will take them, at Villa anyway, it will take them a couple months, the transfer window to.
Yeah, the transfer window's the big one, isn't it?
It's the fully set set in stone what they want.
Yeah.
Like they can change it straight away, I know that, but in my opinion, it'll push you back a few weeks, few months,
Fair enough,
whatever.
Yeah.
And so he came in. Obviously, it didn't go well.
Nope.
Again, we spent 100 million something. We did gain 100 million, but I mean, even the players we brought in, it should have been a decent season again where we finished 11th, 10th. Unfortunately, that didn't happen.
No.
And then this season, we haven't spent. I think we just spent about 80 million,
Oh,
but that's improving on the players that
yeah.
we already had and should have that quality.
Hmm.
And obviously, it hasn't gone well for us.
No.
We lost on the opening day of the season. We've only won 2 games. I think our first draw was against. Oh no, we've had 2 draws. We've had 2 draws. Um, but we've lost the rest and conceded quite a few. Obviously, the injuries have not helped us.
No.
They won't help any team. Um, it's just annoying because to me, this is what I said when I left the ground. Obviously, it was the opening day of the season, and it might have been ridiculous to say, but I was talking to the people after we lost 2-0 to Bournemouth, and I
Hmm.
was saying it always feels like no matter who we sign, what we do,
Same old Villa.
we're always a season away, one
Yeah.
player away from becoming that top 10 team, that European team. Um, and that's how it's always felt like.
Yeah.
Obviously, it won't feel like that forever. We'll either go down, or obviously, in my opinion, we should never go down ever again,
Yeah.
unless anything goes drastically wrong. But in my opinion, it'll either be obviously, like I just said, we'll go down,
You'll get it.
or we'll finally get it. And I don't want us to become a mid-table team
No.
because it's boring. Obviously,
Yeah.
I'd prefer us to be a mid-table team than fighting for promotion in the Championship, although that is exciting.
Yeah.
Um,
You get to play
but
West
I
Brom every
don't.
week as well, or twice a year.
Yeah, well, they'll go down. But yeah, I don't want us to become this team that's fighting to stay in the league,
I know you play,
fighting
yeah.
for mid-table when we've spent all this money and we have quality in the team.
Yeah.
We have a quality back room. We
Hmm.
have good management in inverted commas at the
Yep.
minute. But um, yeah, it's just annoying. We
There's
have
something missing.
everything going for us, and yeah, there is always something missing.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
I
listening to
don't know.
that, you were saying you're conceding lots of goals. We've conceded more. You spent 80 million. We spent 15. So you're not doing that bad, mate. There's always a club worse than you. You can come over to the East Midlands if you need to, and you can come and just laugh like I'd do as
I'm
well.
all
Um,
right.
Steven Gerrard, in or out?
See, this is the thing. Um, I don't like managers being sacked unless they need to be, because the season we went down, we had about 4 or 5 managers.
Hmm.
2 were interim, and actually, yeah, I think it might have been 3 or 4 managers, something like that,
Hmm.
and 2 were definitely caretakers. Um, and we've never sort of had that stability of being able to keep a manager longer than, say a few seasons or whatever.
Hmm.
Um, because obviously with it being the club we are, you don't want to be chopping and changing managers
No.
every couple of months, couple of seasons, unless it's needed. So it's nice being able to say since our new owners have come in, we've been able to have that sort of keeping the manager and having that sort of stability. Obviously, we sacked Bruce,
Yeah.
and then we had Smith up until November last season, and we've had Gerrard ever since then. So they've only had 3 managers during their time,
Hmm.
and I've only sacked 2.
Yeah.
So I don't want to say I don't want Gerrard to go, but at the minute it's for where we want to be, for where we need to be pushing, for where the owners want us to be, unless he drastically changes it
Hmm.
between now and the World Cup or now and the start of January. At the minute, it's going to be he has to go.
Okay.
I mean, that isn't just my opinion. You can check Twitter, social media,
Yep.
whatever.
Hmm. I agree.
Loads of Villa fans are saying it. Obviously, some are trolls, so
Take with a pinch of salt.
yeah. But it's not just the troll football accounts. It's people on the outside, people that are fans of the club. A load of people are saying it. And I saw a poll the other day, and it weren't an account on Twitter with a lot of followers, but 90% were out, 10% were in. So obviously, if we go on like a good run, which we do have a good run of games coming up, and most of them are winnable.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't get a lot of points out of that, so like say between now and the World Cup, if we don't get a lot of points out of them, he's got to go. Yeah.
Fair enough. That'll probably be up as a YouTube short and a TikTok and Instagram reel. Actually, I might have to cut a little bit out because there's no way that was a minute. But go over there and have a re-listen of that, so you can re-listen. Boost my watch time. If Gerrard were to go, who would you like to replace him with?
I mean, there's no one like set in mind, because I haven't really wanted to think about it.
No.
But obviously you saw all the rumours. Poch, he's a potential one to come in, and I wouldn't be against that if Gerrard was to go. I don't really know, other than Poch. Like, looking at where we are in the season at the minute, where the football season is. We're in October. Not many managers are going to want to leave if they're already at a club.
No.
And the managers that are out of a job, there aren't many that would
go to Villa.
Well, it's not even would go to us. It's would we want them? Would they work for us? So it is sort of one to properly think about. But the only one at the minute that I'd want if Gerrard was to go was Poch, because he's got a class record. I mean, he took Southampton to Europe, didn't he?
Did bits with Tottenham as well. Champions League final.
Definitely, yeah. And no one expected Tottenham to get to a Champions League final.
No, absolutely not.
And he got and he almost won the league with them.
Yeah.
Obviously, the season you won the league,
he came fairly close.
Yeah.
I mean, he ended up finishing third, but
they should have finished second.
They absolutely should have done. They only finished third because they lost 5-1 to Newcastle in the final of the season.
Yeah.
One I will raise you, Thomas Tuchel. Now, I know you might say it's absolutely outlandish, but I have heard apparently he wants to continue in the Prem and he's happy to take a second tier, if you get what I mean, so not one of the big six, or one below that side. You would be a side below the big six one, looking to push to Europe if you had the right manager. Do you think he'd come, first of all? And if he would you take him?
Yeah, definitely. I saw the sort of rumours that he has said that he wouldn't take. Well, obviously, if the opportunity came about, he'd take a top six club happily.
Obviously, yeah.
But I also did see that he would happily take a team in the Premier League that are lower table. Before Poch came to Chelsea, we all saw his rise with PSG. Obviously,
Tuchel.
Yeah.
You said Poch, I think.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I was
sorry. I was still thinking about Poch. No, we all saw the rise of Tuchel at PSG. PSG isn't a hard job.
No.
Obviously, managing is a hard job, but managing PSG and winning the league in France, they're the biggest club.
They are, honestly, yeah.
You should, any manager that's going into that job should be winning the league. Winning the league.
I mean, Poch didn't do it.
Yeah.
Poch he did not. Second, didn't he?
Yeah, and so maybe Poch isn't all that, but yeah, Tuchel. Before he went to Chelsea, I was saying to people that and not even just saying to them, I was always thinking how good of a manager he is. I was surprised when Chelsea sacked him.
Same.
I think he'd only lost something about like 16 games or something, weren't it, like
Yeah.
that, since being with them, and
Mm.
that was in all competitions. So I'd happily take Tuchel at Villa.
Mm-hmm.
Whether he come to us again, different
Different question.
question.
Yeah.
But if the opportunity came and he did want to come to us, I wouldn't say no.
Fair
I
enough.
think I think he's a fantastic manager,
Mm-hmm.
and wherever he goes next, obviously I'll be keeping up with him because
Yeah.
he's one of them sort of managers that I've always kept up with
Yeah.
since his rise at PSG.
PSG. Yeah. I mean, it's one of them with Chelsea. It was the new ownership, obviously, and Bowley and him didn't seem to get along that well. I can imagine the relationship started breaking down when Bowley wanted Tuchel to play without a goalkeeper, playing that classic 4-4-3 formation. But you look at that partnership, and it just didn't seem to work, did it? You know, you had Bowley wanting him to get involved with transfers, which Tuchel never really has done. Bowley giving Tuchel advice on what formation to play, I think stupid. Never mind the fact it was a 4-4-3. Still can't get over that. You've brought a football club. Know that there's 11 players allowed on the field. But yeah, I mean, Tuchel's an interesting one. You know, if we can sack Rodgers in enough time, I was going to say Poch then. If we can sack Rodgers in enough time, if we could get him to come to Leicester, actually, I'm not going to say anything online because then you'll all hold me to do it, and I'll have to do it. But I'll be very, very. I was going to say I'll run down the street naked, but that could go very, very wrong. I'll be a very, very happy boy, is what I'll say. So yeah, Tuchel, if you're listening, if you wouldn't mind bringing Top and telling him to get rid of Rodgers, I'd greatly appreciate that. When this is going out, the Villa, I was going to say the Marty Villa then, but no, the Villa will have.
It's debatable.
I mean, you're 16th, aren't you, mate? Mighty could be. We're 19th. What am I saying? When this is going out, you'll have played Forest.
Yeah.
You could be made to look like a right odd mug here. But what are your predictions for that game?
This is the annoying thing. I can never predict how it will go with Villa. I can never predict it. In my heart, I always say we'll win any game. It could be against anyone. My heart always says we'll win. In my head, I am more realistic.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We gift a lot of the clubs points. So, I mean, I don't really think we've beat. It's the same with you. We haven't really beat a promoted side much.
We
yours
beat Forest. Yeah.
Yours was away, weren't it? That you didn't really beat them.
What was this?
I forgot you were on about earlier. You might have to cut this.
Bournemouth. The Bournemouth game. Yeah, we lost to them 2-1. We beat Forest though, so we have beat a newly promoted side recently.
Oh, you were on about the away games, weren't you?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Home games we can win. Yeah. Away games we ain't been someone who is still in the Prem now since October last year.
That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we're a bit different. We don't really win the games we should, and we always win the games we don't. So we are a bit weird. Yeah, that was we're the only team that stopped them scoring in the first half of the season as well. But yeah, we are sort of weird with like that. So I think it's a game that we should win, obviously. So yeah, I'll have to go with a win.
Fair enough.
Obviously, whether we do or not, I wouldn't be surprised if we lose. But it's a game that we need to win, and if we don't win, obviously going back to Gerrard, it's not going to be.
It's not looking good.
Pretty for him the whole week, because our next two games, Brentford at home, and then Chelsea at home. We might even. I think we play Fulham in the middle of that. So, but our next two home games are definitely Brentford and Chelsea.
Yeah. So.
And we have got Fulham around that sort of time as well. So
fair enough.
You know, we're looking at the next two or three. Fulham, Forest, Brentford. Brentford are our bogey team. We never beat them. But them 3 games, I'd be happy with 7 points.
Yeah, all right, fair
2
enough.
wins and a draw.
But, fair enough.
Again, whether we do or not, it wouldn't surprise me if we go out and lose all 3. But they're the games we desperately need to win.
Can I get a score for Forest? Good luck.
The last 2 times we played them, drew 5-5 and won 3-1. So
I remember that 5-5 game actually.
so do I. It was a bit of a weird night, but I don't know. We'll probably definitely end up conceding.
Yeah.
So I'll say, well, I'm going with the Villa win. So hopefully 2-1.
2-1.
Yeah, I'll take a 2-1.
Got that
3-1.
top.
Obviously, that'd be nice, but it would probably be like 2-1 because we're not really good in front of goal at the minute.
No,
I mean, Watkins had 4 shots on target last week against Leeds, and we didn't score none.
We'll go on to in the tier list. But no, yeah, we'll have to see on that one. When you're listening to this, it could sound like a right old mug, or he could sound like he's, the second coming of
Christ.
I don't know. Yeah, sure, we'll go with that. And then, last but not least in this section, before we cut to a tier list in which we've got 27, I think, Aston Villa players to rank, so I'm sure you'll love that. How do you expect the season to go from now on?
Well, there's 2 ways it could go. We could either start picking up our form, which is obviously what I'm hoping for, and if we pick up our form, aim for that top 10, hopefully Europe, but that's going to be a big task now, even though we're only, 9-10 games in. So, well, not even that, but you know what I mean. It's going to be a huge task to even get there at the minute. But hopefully we can pick up form and aim for that top 10, which is where we need to be, and then push on from that. And hopefully it don't go the other way of how it could go, and we end up bottom mid-table. But in my opinion, if we pick up points in our next couple of games and we get a good run of form before the World Cup, hopefully we start pushing for that top 10. And it's, well, to be fair, it isn't even a hope. It's we need to.
Yeah.
Or, the owners, they're not going to be overly happy. Us as fans, obviously we're not happy at the minute. If we finish bottom mid-table, it's going to be so negative, and that's not what we need at the club. We need to be pushing to where we need to be, and obviously with our new stadium revamp coming, which should hopefully be happening in summer next season, so after the final game of the season. That's obviously that's something to look forward to, but it'd be nice if we could look forward to having amazing form and a new stand coming in. Obviously,
Conference League football there, maybe.
Definitely not.
But mate, best competition in the world, I'm telling you. You get some great teams in it.
5-4 the other day, or 7-4 or something, weren't it? Or 7-5 the other day, Wrexham, Barnet.
Yeah, possibly.
Such a class game. But...
Yeah, but no, I mean, yeah, we'll have to see what happens. But no, I think it's I think it could be a very exciting few seasons for Villa, or you could be playing West Brom in the Championship twice a season.
Hopefully not.
So because they might go down, to be honest. But no, yeah, what we'll do is we'll take another cut there before we come back to rank every single Aston Villa player. And we are back to talk about Aston Villa and all these lovely Aston Villa players. Now Jack Grealish isn't out, I can see all these lovely Aston Villa players. Let's start off with the goalkeeper. Let's start off with Emiliano Martinez. Where are you going to put him? We've got 5 tiers for this. We've got goated, top player, just mediocre, needs to prove himself, and awful.
Awful? Nah, I'm only joking. Goated.
Goated.
I would say he's the best keeper, if not one of the best. Because obviously, how people will say their keepers goated, but he is one of the best players best goalkeepers outside of the top 6, if not the best. So definitely in goated. No,
fair enough.
Nothing more needs to be said. Goated.
Fair enough. We'll move on to the backup goalkeeper now, Robin Olsen.
I don't know. How many tiers we got?
We got 5.
We got goated, top player,
just mediocre, needs to prove himself, and awful.
Fair enough, yeah. So, because obviously he's only played the one game for us. I'd say just mediocre.
Just
But
mediocre.
if we'd saw him more, I'd happily maybe put him in top player. But obviously he hasn't played a lot for us,
Yeah, fair enough.
so I can only go off what we saw.
Uh huh.
So for us, he's just mediocre. He's a backup goalkeeper, so
Uh
that's
huh.
all you can
Yeah.
sort of say about him.
Yeah, I see what you mean. And then the final goalkeeper in Jed Steer.
It's a shame with Steer because we signed him, and I think we might have signed like 2012, 2013. He
Wow.
never
Okay.
really played for us, and
Uh huh.
the season, well, half the season he did play for us was the season we got promoted, and he was absolutely class.
Mhm.
And then after that, he hasn't really again played for us because we signed Heaton when we came up, and
Yeah.
we signed. He was our backup, like he was second, third choice always. So,
Mhm.
um, do you know what? Just for that playoff semi-final penalty shootout and helping us get promoted, I'll have to put him in top player
Top player.
or
Okay.
top class, whatever the tier is,
Top player. Yeah.
because I will add, he isn't a top player no more. He does
Mhm.
not really play. He might have had a pre-season game for us if that, but he does not play for us anymore.
Okay.
Whatever. But I'll put him in top player purely because of his penalty saving heroics a few
Mhm.
years ago. Although he did play for us last season and we lost about 3-0 to Chelsea.
Mhm.
So
Fair enough.
he's he isn't class. He isn't a Premier League goalkeeper, but for hero status at Villa, I'll
Top
put him in
player.
that tier. Yeah.
Fair enough. And for those watching this as a video, because this will be a video separate to the main podcast, I know you can only see his chin. I promise it is Jed Steer. You'll just have to trust me based off the beard. We'll move on to a guy that is called Matty Cash, but Matty Kaszowski, I think's the other name for him, now him being Polish, of course.
Yeah, he's got so many different Polish names.
He has.
It's unreal.
Where's Matty Cash going?
Same as Steer.
Same as Steer, top player.
Yeah. He's a good. When we signed him from Forest, again, I was skeptical.
Mhm.
Championship player coming to Premier League, you never know how they'll play.
No.
But this season, he hasn't. Again, you could say that about any player that we have. He hasn't been great, but happily put him in that
Top
tier
player.
because when he is playing, he does play quite well. And obviously at Forest, he was sort of playing like midfield on the wing, and
He was,
he
yeah.
showed his class there. He's still class on the wing. So yeah, I'll put him there.
Fair enough. I was listening to the Foscast with him the other day, and he was talking about that on there, obviously.
I
And
haven't watched that yet.
he was speaking really well on it. I'd absolutely recommend it.
Yeah.
Listen to it on the bus back from college. So yeah, top quality podcast. Diego Carlos next, from the 90 odd minutes you've seen of him.
It is unfortunate, but from what we have saw of him, again, I'd put him in the same rank as Matty and Jed,
Right.
because what we have saw of him has been class. Any Villa fan would say that, and he will be a big loss to us while he's out injured.
Yeah.
And hopefully when he comes back, he can replicate what he showed in like the 2-3 games we had with him.
Mhm.
So happily put him there.
Fair enough.
Hopefully he comes back and shows that he can do what he did. But
Of course, yeah.
with the injury he has, it'll be
Be a while.
50-50 because we don't know how we'll perform after that.
Of course, yeah. And obviously he's getting older as well, as he's 29, 30 odd. So again, you'll have to see how he recovers from that.
Easy.
Ezri Konsa next.
Yeah, again. Oh my god, I'm a bit of a broken
Top
record
player,
again.
yeah.
Yeah, he is top player. Some have put him in the third tier. I'm putting him in top player purely because he is a top player. He came through the ranks at Brentford, and Smith signed him the first season we came up, and people said, "Oh, that's a bit ridiculous for him," but like the money we spent on him, sorry.
Yeah.
But the money we spent on him has been proven.
Okay.
He does a job.
Mhm.
So I'm putting him in that same tier.
Fair enough. We've got a man that seems to divide for the fans'
Yeah.
opinions next.
I can guess who this is.
I'm sure you can probably start talking about it now. Tyrone Mings.
Yeah, if this was last season, mediocre.
Uh huh.
I think I think I do agree with Gerrard that the captaincy thing did sort of play with him a bit.
Uh-huh.
And last season he didn't play as well, although his stats wise, he's still shown that he was a class player. But yeah, if this was last season, it's mediocre. But I'll have to put him. I don't know, because this season he's been top class.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm gonna have to put him in top player.
Another top player.
Yeah, if this was honestly though, if this was last season, it's mediocre.
It'd be mediocre, right, fair enough.
The mistakes he made did massively fuck us in the nicest way possible.
Yeah. Fair enough.
But I have to put him there.
All right, fair enough. Next, we've got the most versatile man in this squad, Callum Chambers.
Yeah, the things we have saw of him are top class, but we haven't saw a lot of him. So, as much as I want to say the same tier again, it's going to have to be just mediocre.
All right, fair enough.
Because although we want him to play more, and he is an amazing player when he's played for us, I'll have to put him in mediocre because he doesn't play a lot, and that is a shame. But you can't say a lot about a player that don't really play for you when at the minute he should be. But I think at the minute he is injured. I think he might be back for Forest on Monday. Okay. Whether he is or not, obviously we'll have to see when the team news comes out. Because not even the club know that yet. But yeah, he's mediocre at the minute. But when he does play for us, he has been amazing. So
fair enough. Next, we've got a guy I didn't even realise you've signed. Ludwig Augustinsson.
Needs to prove himself.
Fair enough.
To be fair, he's coming on loan. He's played one half against Leeds.
Yeah.
And he didn't even finish that half because he got injured. And now he's out for 3 weeks. So that's another player that I forgot to mention on the transfers bit, but we're talking about him now. He's come in on loan, and unfortunately he's got injured. I don't really think he did. Well, obviously he did well enough because we kept a clean sheet that first half, and then obviously we kept the clean sheet the whole game. But yeah, we don't know lots about him. We saw him play 46 minutes of football, and that was it. So yeah,
fair enough.
Needs to prove himself.
Fair enough. Next, we've got another lad here who is another left back. So you've got three, which doesn't make sense to me. This guy's a little bit older than Augustinsson. Ashley Young.
Ooh. It's hard because obviously he played for us before he went to United.
He did, yeah.
And he was a class player then. Because he's still playing, and because he does put in a good performance, and judging on him from when he was with us before he left us, I'll put him in goated. He's doing a class job. You know, he's 37.
He is, yeah.
Turning 38 next year, I think, and and he's still putting in a good job. So yeah, from playing with us when we signed him first, and now he's come back. So yeah, I'll put him in goated because he's always been a player that will put in a good shift for us, even if he isn't at his best as he was a few years ago. So
38 in July for Ashley Young. So yeah, getting on a little bit. Next, we've got a man that you brought in on deadline day. I think it was deadline day. Jan Bednarek.
Again, needs to prove himself. We've only saw him play one half of football, so obviously he did well. He did well. I won't knock him for that. But yeah, needs to prove himself.
Fair enough.
We haven't saw a lot of him. We might see him on Monday, depending on the injury situation. But yeah, needs to prove himself. Hopefully, he comes good for us because we do genuinely need players that will get us up the table at the minute. But yeah, at the minute he needs to prove himself. Needs to show his defensive qualities with us, and so yeah, hopefully he does prove himself. Time will tell.
Yeah. Fair enough. We've got another guy, Frederick Gilbert. Swear he left you, but apparently he's still here. So
he is still here. Yeah. It's a weird one. What was the final tier? What are the
awful?
Awful. I wouldn't put him in awful. I don't know. I can't even put him in proving himself because
we're going to need one awful out of the whole tier list, surely.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm going to have to put him in awful because at the minute he's never going to play for us ever again. And obviously when he did play for us in his first season, he was class, but obviously we were losing loads of games and conceding lots of goals, so obviously weren't that great. But he's one of the ones which fans are gutted about the treatment that he's got by the club and
Uh-huh.
Gerrard. So, but yeah, unfortunately, he's gonna have to go bottom tier because
Going
I
off him.
can't say he's got to prove himself because at the minute he's never going to play for us again. So
Yeah,
it's a
fair enough
shame.
then.
It's one of them players that nothing came well of. But yeah, unfortunately, he's got to go an awful.
No, fair enough. Next, we've got the man who dislodged Matt Targett's position at left back. It's Luca Digne.
Mediocre.
Mediocre.
Purely because loads of fans will say he hasn't been an upgrade on target.
Okay.
He's class going forward, but even then, it's not. I mean, obviously, we haven't been scoring a lot of goals this season anyway. So,
No.
yeah, he's mediocre. He's one of them players that I think you could say people underrate, but I'd definitely agree with the people that say he hasn't improved on target.
Fair
So
enough.
yeah, he's got to go mediocre.
Fair
He's
enough.
just one of them annoying players. He is good, but
He doesn't show it enough.
no,
He's not consistent.
no, he's not consistent enough.
Fair enough. Dendonka next up.
Again, needs to prove himself. We
Okay.
saw him play 20 minutes of football.
Yeah.
Not a lot can be said about him.
Nope.
So, although when we did sign him, like quite a few fans called him Den Donkey, so take of that what you will. But yeah, he needs to prove himself. Hopefully he does, because we spent about 20 million on him,
Ooh.
and yeah, that's all I can really say about him.
Yeah. Next up, we've got a youth player, Lamar Bogard. I'm going to presume this needs to prove himself.
Yeah, I think I might have seen him play once or twice. I might have, if he started in the FA Youth Cup final, he did well there. But yeah, needs to prove himself.
Okay.
No one knows a lot about him. Me personally, I don't anyway. A lot of people know a lot more about the youth team than I do, so I can't really comment on him. But needs to prove himself.
Fair
Obviously, he
enough.
needs to prove himself anyway if he wants to break into this
Exactly. Yeah.
first team. So
Yeah. Very good point. We've got a man that nearly moved on. Well, did he nearly move? He was linked with a move on deadline day to Arsenal. Had a couple of bids rejected. Douglas Luiz.
yeah, it's another weird one. Came from City, didn't really do well in his first season, but he had scored a lot of corner goals. I think he scored 3, including the one in pre-season. So
Wow.
I'd put him in top class, top
Top
player.
player. Yeah.
Yeah, he does well when we need him. If this was last season or the season before, I might say mediocre, but yeah, he does a job. So I'd put him top player.
Fair enough. We've got Big John McGinn next.
It's annoying because another annoying one because he is a class player, but unfortunately this season he's been mediocre, and maybe taking the captaincy on is
Too much.
sort of is too much. So unfortunately I've got to put him in mediocre. Any Villa fan that has seen him play this season will probably say the same thing. A lot of people want him to be dropped, which is kind of a shame, but again, it is what it is. So mediocre at the minute.
We've got next
Hopefully
up.
he picks up form.
Yeah, we've got a guy next that I was actually really excited when he first signed for you. I was really excited because I thought this is a really good signing. He came from France. His name's Morgan Sanson. What's happened here then?
He was too injury prone. I think we paid about 15 million for him, and
Yeah.
we saw zero return on that 15 million so far. It's annoying because he's just one of them players that he's come to us. It happens a lot. Players come to us, been injury free most of their career, or haven't really been injured, and they go and get injured a lot. I don't really think Gerrard's the biggest fan of him for whatever reason. A lot of fans are saying we haven't got a lot going for us at the minute. Why not play him? And he's still not being played. He might come on, be on the bench a few times. So yeah, he needs. I can't even. I don't know. Probably needs to prove himself.
He's proved himself.
Because
Okay.
we've saw nothing of him, and we've had him. 1
Year and a half now, was it? 2 years and a half?
yeah, I think January would be his third season. I don't
Wow.
know. I don't.
Wow.
This is the thing. We don't know. We don't
No.
know anything about him. So
So yeah,
yeah, unfortunately,
needs
he's
to
got
prove
to go there.
himself. Next up, we've got a man that is Emi Buendia. If you are watching the video, I know you can't tell, so you can literally see his beard, his arms, and his chest. But it is Emi Buendia. He's invisible in this, as you've already said. Stephen Gerrard would agree with that. Where's he going for you then?
He's just a bit off-goated because
Okay,
he doesn't play enough.
top
So
player.
he's another one that's going top player. Because when he comes on, he's absolutely amazing, and it did take him a while to get used to it. But yeah, he's a top player, and it's a shame that Gerrard isn't playing him more for one reason or another. But yeah, he's an amazing player and is very much proving why we spent 35-40 million on him.
Yeah, fair enough. Next up, I think that's Marvellous Nakamba.
It's unfortunate because if he didn't get injured last season, he might be another one joining that second tier list. But he's mediocre because Gerrard hasn't really hasn't played him at all this season. And unfortunately, when he did sign for us, to be fair, up until Gerrard became manager, he's one of them ones that I may have put in awful, but he's done well since Gerrard has come. But unfortunately, he just isn't playing. It isn't working out for him, and he could end up being one of the ones that go in January or the summer. So, yeah, I'd have to say mediocre, unfortunately.
Fair enough. Next up, we have a man we've already touched on in this podcast so far, Philippe Coutinho.
Frustrating player. At the minute, definitely mediocre.
Uh-huh.
He just isn't proving what he's got. He isn't showing it. So,
No, fair enough.
if this was a few weeks later than we're doing this podcast now, it might even be putting him in. He needs to prove himself, but at the minute he's mediocre.
Fair enough.
If we don't see a turn of form, he could very well end up in that awful section.
Wow. 130 million for awful for Aston Villa. Wow, what a downfall from grace for Philippe Coutinho. And there isn't even any disrespect in that either. 130 million. Oh, God. Next up, Jacob Ramsey. You're a shining light of your youth academy recently.
Yeah, top player,
Top
definitely. He came through the youth, obviously, as you just said, and yeah, he's one of them ones that hopefully we keep hold of, and he just keeps on improving, and he becomes sort of like how Grealish did. But yeah, he's
City for
absolutely
100 mil.
he is amazing. Yeah, so definitely top player.
Fair enough. We've got your final summer signing now, Boubacar Kamara.
Goated. Yeah, I think I might put him in goated because every time he's played for us, he's been
looked
quality.
incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, and I can't say that. To be fair, I would put him in top player, but he's going in goated purely because his performance. He's probably been one of, if not our best player so far this season. And it'll be a real shame to lose him while he's out injured.
Fair enough. We've got just the attackers left now. 4 attackers, and I don't think any of them can score goals. But we'll start with Ollie Watkins.
It's another frustrating. Again, keep on saying the same thing. It is frustrating, but he's mediocre at the minute because he may get a few shots on target in the game, but he isn't scoring. And as a striker, if you're not scoring,
It's not good enough.
something's wrong. He took extra shooting drills over the summer, and unfortunately that hasn't really helped him yet. So
No.
he's got to go mediocre. Hopefully he picks up that form he sort of had when we first signed him, and can get about 10, 11 goals this season. But he's going to need to start scoring soon.
He is. He's only got 1 so far. Next up, we do have the biggest surprise transfer in football history. Nobody knew this was going to happen. Even his own girlfriend didn't know this was going to happen until he was signing the shirt. It's Danny Ings.
Yeah, he's one of them ones that has sort of worked out and sort of hasn't, because we all know he's injury prone, but when he is scoring, he has done quite well. Mediocre, unfortunately, because he's just one of them players that get injured too much and we never really see the best of.
Fair enough. We've got two more now. We'll start off with something I was really excited for when he first came to you lot, but just hasn't seemed to work out. The Jamaican winger is Leon Bailey.
To be fair, in pre-season, he was the GOAT. He was a GOAT. It's never really worked out. Again, he was injury free before he signed for us, and he's been injury prone ever since. So I'd love to put him in top class, but I don't think many would agree with me. So he's got to go in mediocre.
Wow. Okay. Big fall from grace then after scoring goals for fun at Leverkusen. Mediocre for Leon Bailey. And then last but not least, it's a man that many Villa fans want starting from what I've seen actually, Cameron Archer.
Top player. Happily put him in top player. Obviously he's only young and he hasn't scored a lot, but Villa fans are questioning why Gerrard ain't playing him. Again, I'll go back to what I said about Sanson. Not a lot's going for us. You may as well chuck him on for half hour for a full half, because he has proven that he'll be a top class striker. I mean, it might have even been his it weren't his debut, but I think it might have been his full first 90 minutes in a Villa shirt. He got a hat trick. Again, granted, it was against Barrow. Barrow League 2, so not sort of the one to be like, whoa, he's got a hat trick, but for his age, to get a hat trick in any game against any team is fantastic. So yeah, I'd put him in top player. Hopefully we see him more. And if he stays with us and if he plays the way he does, he'll definitely be one of them players that we'll want to keep for as long as he's great.
All right, fair enough. Well, that is the tier list done, and that is also the end of the podcast. It's been an absolute pleasure, mate. I've enjoyed spending these last 80 or so minutes with you. Before we do round off the pod, is there anything you'd like to plug?
Please refollow us to get us back to 30k. Yeah, that's it. Oh, actually, check out our bio, because we do have a TikTok, and I haven't really posted a lot on it in a while. But I will start to sort of get back into it. I do enjoy doing a TikTok. It's just thinking of the ideas. Because obviously, TikTok is you can post a banging video and
it'll flop. Yeah.
It'll get stinky views, and you can post a stinky video and it'll get loads of views and loads of likes. So yeah, please definitely check out the page and the TikTok and follow it, because I quite enjoy doing TikTok, and hopefully I can this season anyway. Not just me, obviously, the other admin as well. Hopefully, if he wants to get involved with the TikTok, he does it.
Slight hint there.
Because, yeah. That's it really. I haven't really got much to plug. I would say YouTube if this was my first year doing the page again, but there's nothing on that no more, for a very good reason. I was 13, but
okay. Oh well.
Yeah, so they were quite awful.
Yes.
And all them videos are privated now. So
that's a shame. I was going to go and check them out. But no, yeah.
They've all been deleted for a good reason.
That's a shame. But no, it's been an absolute pleasure, and thank you all at home for listening to the podcast. I'll catch you all again next week when we've got something big again coming, so make sure you tune in for that. See ya.